want to welcome everyone here tonight, and um, I'm grateful that you've taken this time to hear about letting go with grace. Um, Recently, I've just left my home in Rochester and I moved to Illinois. I'm in Woodstock, Illinois now, and it's been a real journey for the last 3 weeks to get relocated, but I finally have some clear space that I can sit in and not feel like I'm just surrounded by boxes and boxes and boxes. So it's a process, and everything is coming along very well. And I understand that there's a lot of snow up there in the northern plains of Minnesota, and I'm not missing that right now. It's kind of fun not to have to relocate 8 inches of snow when you wake up in the morning. So it's been good already for me. So I want to thank you again for coming. We're going to talk about letting go with grace. And this has been a message that I received a while back that I needed to learn about, and I was given the message that I really should be sharing it with you as well. So just a couple of little introductory things, a few different services that I'm offering for any of the new clients, or if we need to talk about issues or try to get something set up for your energetic or spiritual needs. I'm offering a free 30-minute consultation for everyone. So please share that bit of information around. And if you need anything, just let me know. And here's my new contact information. I've got a new email and a new name for my website, even though the older ones will still get you to my inbox and to the website, but transitioning with the change. And the website has been completely refashioned, and I'm trying to reach a broader audience as well. And my phone number has not changed, so you can always text me. If you have any questions about anything tonight, just let me know. And I'm really, really excited that I've been asked to be on a radio show with Suzanne Giesman. She's a mentor of mine. She is a world-recognized evidential medium, and she's a spiritual leader. She's authored 13 books, and I've got every one of them. I've read them all more than once. She has incredible messages to share with us about listening to spirit and how we're not alone in this world when our loved ones pass on to the other side or beyond the veil. They're here next to us, even though we can't see them. It's like they're just in a different dimension. And I studied mediumship with her a number of times, and I'm really excited that she's asked me to be on her radio show to share information about energy healing and how we can all work together helping others. So if you want to listen to that live or even recorded, you can access it through the information here on the slide. And you can go to Suzanne Giesman's website and listen to other recordings that she's done. She's been doing this for a very long time, and get good messages. So hope you'll be able to join us for that. So like ready, set, let go, right? Again, welcome everyone. And this is the season of fall. And fall is about letting go, releasing, and it's a rhythm of earth transitioning into metal. So the rhythm of earth is our facilitator to take us from summer into fall. This fall doesn't really start until the equinox, the fall equinox comes along in a couple of weeks yet. So it works as a transition. It helps us glide from one season to the next. But it brings with it the beauty and the love that we have and the compassion that we have for one another, because that's what the earth season is all about, is the feeling that compassion and expressing that for all that are around us. Excuse me. So all we have to do is just take a look around us and we can see that, I'm sorry, letting go of something here. All right, so energy releasing with just talking about letting go. So Mother Nature, let me take a sip of water here. See if I can undo this. So a little bit of an energetic thing going on. So I'm just going to stop for a moment and I'm going to open my throat chakra. And you all can do this anytime that you feel like your throat is tightening up on you too when you're trying to express yourself, release, and let go. And that really opened it up very nicely. And I think what else I'm going to do is I have my little silver spoon here. And I'm just going to do some figure eights over my throat chakra too to just help that energetic polarity to be restored. And that feels really good. So I'm going to really serve as a good example to everyone tonight about ways to let go. And that's been one of my biggest lessons over the last couple of months with this transition from the moving and from many other things that are taking place in my life into adjusting to what the changes are for me. So as we step into fall, we just have to look at Mother Nature to see where she's guiding us. And we can look at any time during the year to see where Mother Nature is guiding us and how can we be in rhythm with that. And if you can think back, even in July, the little squirrels were gathering all their foods, hoarding them, digging holes all over the yards, trying to plant their winter stores. So that tells us that it's going to be a big winter for everyone. If the animals are in July making plans for the winter, we have to pay attention to that. The trees started letting go of their leaves very early, even before they started to turn colors. So I'm able to just pay attention to what Mother Nature is taking us through. And then if we look at how we as the people walking around this earth start this, all of a sudden we start scurrying about and quickly trying to get this done, get that done, and moving from one place to another in a more rapid fashion. It's like we're stepping into tune with the way Mother Nature is bringing us along. And although we may not have the conscious awareness of that's what's going on, that's what Mother Nature is bringing us through to. So watching Mother Nature, really, really important. And what are we clinging to? As we get into this season of letting go, I think it's something that's not just for the season in the fall and the winter of letting go, but it's something that we have to think about on a daily basis. And what do we need to let go of that's not serving our higher purpose in our life? Material objects, number one. And I, number one, foremost know this so well because I just moved. And for the last 6 months, I knew I was letting go to make a move, but I didn't know when it was going to take place. So I had been releasing and letting go of stuff and giving things away and purging and cleaning closets and just letting go of things that I thought were really important to me. And then when you look at it and you say, well, where is the value in this object, this piece? Asking yourself that. And we'll get into the answer in a little bit. So material objects are tough to let go. There's sentiment, and we think that that sentiment is so important that we've got to have that. And what drives that actually is guilt. Because if I let go of this piece that my deceased grandmother gave me when I was 13 years old, then I'm dishonoring what I got from her, and I'm going to lose that memory. And that object doesn't contain the memory, does it? It's in here. The heart holds the memory. So if we can get past the part of our being, the ego part of our being that says you must hold on to, we can then release those material objects a lot easier and with grace and gratitude. The other thing that's difficult is frustrations, anger, and resentments. When life just doesn't go the right direction, these emotions come forward. And how do we release it? With justice, one way we feel that we need to be justified and rectified over the situation, and not placing blame in the process. That's always the hard thing. My first reaction when I get frustrated or angry, I want to say, well, you did this to me. It's your fault. You pulled out in front of me and made me swerve and almost hit that, lamppost or whatever it was. Whatever the situation is, I immediately want to jump into justifying why I reacted the way I did instead of looking at the situation, recognizing the frustration or the anger or the resentment and owning it and saying, yeah, I'm frustrated. And an example of that is I moved into this new home. It's not new by any means, but new for me. And it wasn't in the best cleanly shape as I would have liked to have seen it. And I started getting frustrated because I had to clean so many things in order to open a box and put my dishes on the cabinet shelf. And I just felt all this welling up inside of me, more frustration, because I couldn't do what I thought I was needing to do. And then I just stopped and I was like, okay, just take a deep breath and know that, you're here safely. You don't have to be frustrated or angry and blame. But if you breathe in and out through the heart and bring that heart energy forward, then the ego just lets loose, lets it go. And then you just move through it. And then that anger, the frustration just dissipates. And then you feel peace and you feel calm. And you can do this with all of the emotions that get out of control for you, either anxiety, panic, fear. Number one, fear is at the root of all of the emotions that are uncontrolled for us. Worrying, being over compassionate, and grief. We hold on to these emotions because we think that they're serving us purpose. And that is coming from the ego mind, which is a lower energy, instead of the high heart energy, which is our love. So in the emotional holding on, grief and sense of dread, feeling dead, I see everything is wrong. I feel detached and withdrawn. I don't like change. I use enabling behaviors and I feel the weight of the world on my shoulders and no one else has any of this. I'm trying to carry it all. And I'm trying to move forward with things, but yet I don't. And I feel like I just keep going backwards. And how do I get that forward movement again? Sometimes I get too involved in other people's lives, try to control what they're doing so that I have some sort of sense of control in my life. But those are all things that are actually holding me back, and learning to let go of these emotions, these feelings, and these thoughts with grace and love is a real lesson. That's not an easy one to be learning. We all struggle with them, and we're always going to have change. We're always going to have challenges, and they're going to come forward when we least expect it. And I think that's part of what makes us so resistant to having that grace come forward and living through our hearts instead of in the emotion of the ego and the lower energies. Now, is anybody out there feeling the same things and identifying? Catherine, if there's any questions, please let me know. I welcome any comments about where we're headed here with letting go.
I had put a note for anybody to put their questions in the chat box. I don't have any just yet.
Okay, great. So I welcome your questions at any time. And it seems to me that the messages that I get a great deal is when I feel alone is when all of the emotions, all of the clinging, all of the parts of that hurry, 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 take me away and overwhelm me. And you just want to sit in the shadows, crawl underneath the blanket and not get up, take a nap and never wake up. Because I'm not sharing my heart with myself. I'm not even sharing my heart with anyone at this point when I'm feeling so alone and feeling overwhelmed by the emotions and trying to let go of. So very important, the question of, are you sharing love with you? And Spirit asks me this every day. I'm challenged with this every single day. And it's important for me to continue to share that love with me. And how do you let go and not feel guilty? Forgiveness. Forgiveness for yourself. And it's not that you did anything wrong, it's just that we think we did, but we have to forgive. And when we do that, then the heart opens up, and again, the ego center silences. And we need some semblance of sacred space. And you'll see me here with this beautiful tree. There's a oak forest just a couple miles from my house that I pass every day as I drive to my father's home. And the trees are so big, you can see the immensity of it. And as I stopped there and I leaned up against the back of this beautiful tree, the wisdom of that tree and the energy of that tree just came right into me, and I could feel the frustration and this self-negative talk and the guilt and all of those things just releasing from my body, and the tree was taking it right out and putting it into the earth. Get out there in nature and lean against a tree, and it doesn't have to be a massive tree. It can be a tiny little tree that's only 2 inches in diameter, but it's going to take you into that space of grounding you and helping you to release those emotions. I use trees in my healing practice all the time, and I'll take people to the tree and have them place their hands against the tree, or I'll place their back against the tree to help remove that excess emotion that they're experiencing. And before my eyes, I can see them going from like sheer panic into a very relaxed state, and then the love comes through. And you can do this for yourself. You can do it just by even touching plants and feeling that nature energy, because she wants to help us. And when this happens, you create that sacred space within your heart. And that's where sacred space begins. I can look around this house and I've got boxes and packing materials and stuff everywhere, all over. And I'm like, where's my space? Where's my space? I need something to feel sacred in. And then I hear the message, it's already there, Gail. It's right here. And you can release that frustration. You don't have to own it to move forward. Give yourself that permission to release it. And guilt has nothing to do with the sacredness of your heart and the love that you have for yourself, which then spills over into the rest of the world and the universe. And that's what we want. That's what we're here for. And we have choices. We don't always recognize our own power, and we give it away to other people. And so it's a time to take that back and own our own power for who we are, because we are good beings. We have great heart. We are not less than. We are equal to that of everything else. And equal to is the love that we've been given. The other thing is that instead of blaming someone else for whatever the situation is, we've got to realize that we choose how we respond. Even at the height of any of emotions, we always choose. So I can choose to get frustrated. I can choose to get sad. I can choose to feel intimidated. Or I can say, okay, that didn't go the way I thought it was going to go, but I am going to choose my response to that with love. I'm going to let go of my initial response of feeling intimidated. I'm going to breathe through my heart, and I'm going to bring that love forward, and I'm going to replace that intimidation with love. And I let go and release that feeling that was making me feel uncomfortable. And now I've got peace and grace in my heart.
We have one comment, Gail, if I could interrupt you for just a moment. Amy said, loved connecting with a tree and releasing it to the earth. I need to do this more often.
Oh, good. And you can go anywhere to do it. And what I do too is when I'm like working or driving or somewhere else, I always have a stick with me. I collect sticks. Rocks and sticks are my thing. And so I always have a little piece of a branch, a tiny little twig, and I keep it in my car so I can grab it or I can look at it and bring that with me no matter where I'm at. I have them in my purse. I have them in my backpack. They're everywhere. I had them in my office when I worked at the hospital. People are like, what you got all these sticks hanging around for? And I use them to bring that in. A fun story about it is because I always had one little piece in my pocket. There was a man who was confused on the night shift, and he kept saying he just wanted to go out into the forest. I just want to go out into the forest and walk in the woods. And the nurses were calling me saying, this guy's driving us crazy. He won't stay in bed. He just keeps wanting to go to the forest. And I came up there to see him, and I gave him the little twig, and I said, here's your forest. The man took that little tiny twig, he laid down in bed, and he never let go of the twig, and he slept the rest of the night. So trees are so powerful. They heal us. So use the trees.
We have another comment. As I drive around, I thank the trees for all they do for us, from Anne.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And it's endless what they do for us. The beauty and the way that they help recycle all of the things for the earth, and how they purify our air and then purify all the energies surrounding us. So that's wonderful, Anne. I'm really glad for that. Remember to choose positive over negative. When our default is going to be stepping into the negative because we're human beings, and that's a tough one to get over. So when you first initially get that hit of this situation is not right, and you get triple warmer all fired up, or it gets you all fired up and you go into feeling negative about stuff, um, make a conscious choice to be aware of where you're at with your emotions. Because the sooner that you can recognize where you're at, the sooner you can now choose, give yourself that power to say, no, I'm not going there. Because even though I don't like the situation, being negative about it is not going to help me get through it or resolve anything. So I can then make a choice to pull in that positive, breathe in that love, look at the tree, look at the flower, the plant, step my feet into the earth and get grounded again and breathe through my heart and pull that love forward. And I love this little picture that just says, listen for joy. And that's what we've got to do, is when we're stressed the most, that's when we really need to listen. Listen with our ears, listen with our hearts, listen with our minds, all of our senses. Listen with the way we touch things. You can hear the energy talking through your hands, even how it feels, to let you know that there's joy in everything. And through joy is grace. And all of this is love. And that's who and what we are. We're beings of love. When things don't go right and we get uptight, we're not grounded. So recognizing that imbalance and getting ourselves grounded really will reverse the situation quite quickly for you if you remember to do it. So that's always a work in progress for me. So you can very quickly do a hookup, and you can press your middle finger to your third eye, and you can place your other middle finger in your navel, and you can connect these two energy sources and take a breath and just connect those energies and get yourself regrounded. And this takes you right out of that emotion that's holding on to you, and you can release it and let it go. And suddenly it doesn't seem all powerful. And there again comes the grace. So when that is disempowered, those extraneous emotions are disempowered, the grace comes through, our joy and our love. Um, I teach Donna Eden energy medicine, and I practice all of her modalities, and her four thumps that she pulled forward grounds us as well. And that's as simple as tapping right underneath the cheekbones. And you can go right ahead with me. You've all had a busy day, and you thump right on the chest, under the collarbone, and you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and let that circulate through. And then the thymus gland, the middle, and I'm just right under the ribs, sides of the ribs, thumping there. These are the four thumps. And this grounds us, and it opens up our energy tracks to just release and let go, so we can reconnect to the earth and to the energies and the elements. I love the Mellow Mudra. And unfortunately, I'm going to admit this, I totally forgot about using this for myself when I was in my moment of craziness, of emotion, of frustration, or feeling alone, or overwhelmed. And this works really, really well. And I like to call it the okay sign. So you do the okay. You just get your little hand up there, and you place the thumb and the forefinger at your temples, and you lay the other three fingers across your forehead. And this calms the excess energy that's ramping through your body. And after a couple of breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, the nervous system begins to calm, the triple warmer begins to calm, and the heart energy starts to come forward. And then we start being able to access our consciousness of, oh, I don't have to go there on that extreme. I can help myself. I can release and let go. And now I feel the peace that's running through my body. And that peace is your grace. And it's your grace that was given to you the minute that you entered this world. You can trace triple warmer backwards, and that is the meridian that governs the system that gives us our fight flight response, but it also puts us into overwhelm when it gets overstimulated. And we need to calm this area, reassure our energy systems that all is well and we don't need to fight and flight, but we just need to calm. So you can just place your hand against your temple and trace behind your ear and go down your neck and your shoulder and just come right off your ring finger. And that traces that meridian backwards and it helps that energy to calm. And if you just want to go behind the ears, you see people doing this all the time, to just calm and then take a deep breath. And now I can feel my grace coming through and those excess emotions being let go of. And drink water. You know, we're electromagnetic beings, and electricity works really well when we have water. And we know that if we stand in water and we touch an electric fence, we're going to get a big old shock. But that's not what this is about. This is about increasing the communication between all the electrons in the body through water, because our bodies are about 65% water at the age that I am right now, and it's about 80% when you are born. So we want lots of water in our system, and we don't ever drink enough. When we get stressed, we stop taking care of ourselves, and part of that is we don't drink water. Being grounded. This is really easy to just go into your kitchen cabinet, get your little refrigerator magnet, and get a spoon that it sticks to, and spoon the bottom of your feet with your spoon. Right? And you can put a spoon in every room of your house. Don't put it back into the drawer for anyone to use until you've washed it, obviously, or just keep it out. I go to the Salvation Army or the Goodwill with my little magnet, and I pick up spoons and I buy a bunch of them at a time, and I give them to all my clients. I give them to everybody. I have one in multiple rooms. I've got one in my car, have one in my purse, my backpack, so that I can use this as often as I can remember. Okay, there's again the conscious choice of recognizing I'm not grounded and being willing to let go of what I'm stuck in at the time with love and grace, instead of thinking I gotta be frustrated and angry because I need to own this. It's not my fault, or I didn't do that. I'm not good enough. Taking those things out, letting that go back into the earth and be recycled is going to be the best way to bring that grace forward for you. You can open the gates of the hands and the feet by rubbing between the bones of the hands and the feet. It's the simplest way to do that, and pull that energy off the fingers. And you can see even babies, you can do this with babies when babies are nervous, upset, they're crying, even puppies. I've even done it on animals to help them calm and not be so ungrounded. And then we have neurovascular points besides what's right here on our foreheads that will help us release and let go. And you can do it as often as you like, as long as you don't do it while you're driving, because it might make you a little tired. When we're consumed by emotions that are taking us away and we're all frustrated and ramped up, that takes a lot of energy. And when our body starts to relax and become calm, we can get tired and we need to rest. And that's the way the body heals ourselves. Let it rest. So in balancing and letting go, the neurovasculars for that are at the very top of the head and the front, right above the eyes on the forehead. And this is the metal neurovascular points, and it's about letting go. So you can simply place your hand on top of your head and hold your forehead. And you're going to help those excess emotions just let go. And if you try that now, and you're taking a breath into the nose and just out through the mouth, you'll just feel your whole body just whoosh, kind of releasing and letting go. And whatever it is that was upsetting you, bothering you, you think about it, and within a minute or two, or a little longer maybe, it just goes away and you forget what you were even thinking about. True scenario here. I was in the end of a relationship and I couldn't stop going over and over and over and over this issue of this relationship. And it was interfering with everything I was trying to do in my life. And one of my mentors sat me down and said, here, hands on forehead, hand on top of your head. And I want you just to hold these two areas and think about the issues and keep thinking about it until you can no longer think about it. And about 8 minutes into this hold, and I was a basket case, I all of a sudden couldn't remember what I was thinking about and what I was upset about, or even that I was upset. I just knew it was, whatever it was gone, and I felt good. And so if we sit with these thoughts, holding these very powerful neurovascular points, they just dissolve from our body. Our body processes it right out because it goes through the nervous system, through the blood system, and it really infuses us with good energy, restores that good blood flow back to the brain, and then we can think with our forebrain instead of running to the back and trying to escape whatever it is we're running from. That's when we can pull up the grace and the love that we have again. And then we get to bless ourselves and say, oh, good job. Even though you were really upset, you did a great job releasing it, letting go. And wow, what love. You can feel that love going through. So create grace in your own life. You deserve it. It's your right to have grace in your life. And it's real important to breathe. And when we get stressed and we're excited, anything that's on the higher range of emotions, we stop breathing. We hold our breath. Why? I don't know. It doesn't do us any good, but we all do it. So we've got to breathe. And if we breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth, we're making energetic connections that help to ground us. It helps to connect our meridian system. And then that goes to all the organs and the brain and everywhere else. The other part of that is to consciously breathe in and out through the heart. This is so powerful that when you connect to your heart and you breathe out, you're connecting into that energy source that is our cosmic energy source, not just us in our physical, but it goes all the way out into the toroidal field. And I'm going to show you a picture of that so you can get an idea of where it's at. It originates in the heart and extends farther than this picture. Obviously, I said it connects into the universe. It connects us to the universal energies. So very, very, very powerful. When you breathe in through the heart, you're pulling and expanding your toroidal field and your connection to that higher source. And the higher source is where we find our grace and our love. And when we exhale, we're expanding that toroidal field even more out into that source of love and grace. And it comes right back to us from top, bottom, and all sides. You can see how this enters our body and it goes to all of our energy systems. And it connects us with the oneness, with the divine. And that's what we are, is we are a divine being. We're here in this world to experience love, to share love, because that's what we are. And with this conscious connection through our heart, we pull that forward and it becomes a knowing within us. And with practice, it comes sooner and sooner when we get thrown off base by all these worldly things that we've got to deal with. And it's easier to get back in touch with love and grace the more you practice it. This is from the Heart Math Institute, by the way, and you can look at that and learn about the research that they've done so eloquently to give us all that evidential research to show the energy fields through the heart. When you're faced with a decision that needs to be made, asking through your heart and not up here in the temporal region that we call ego, even though the ego is a lower energy, the energies actually reside through the root chakra. They don't reside up here in the sixth chakra. We point to up here all the time because that's where our brain's at, and we think that that's what's governing our ego, because the thought originates from in there. But the energy is a lower energy, and it is one of the root chakra. So if we bypass the root chakra for asking questions and how to respond and what are we supposed to do, and we go right into the heart, and we just take a moment to say into the heart, breathe into the heart, out of the heart, and ask, what am I supposed to do here? What is the message for me in this? What's the lesson that I'm supposed to be learning? That information is going to come to you through your heart, which will come through the conscious awareness of your brain and give you your answers. And at that point is where we find the peace and we find the grace. And in every difficult decision that I've ever had to make, or every difficult situation I've faced with, when I have stepped into the heart to ask the question, the answer came through loud and clear of what I needed to do to resolve the issue. And maybe it wasn't what I originally intended, but I know that it was something that Spirit was trying to tell me and give me the message through my heart so that I would respond through love and not through the ego and continue to spiral downward and make myself miserable because I had choice. It wasn't the other driver. It wasn't the other person that made me feel bad about myself or angry. I chose that emotion. So now I'm trying to go into the heart and out through the heart and choose to release and let go of those things that I'm holding on to that are holding me back. Release with grace and love. It's not an easy lesson. And every day we're faced with a way for us to utilize this skill of consciously choosing to bring that energy in through the heart. It keeps us moving forward. Whenever we're stuck, go into the heart and feel, where does Spirit take you? Where does your heart lead you? And feel the grace and the joy that's yours. It's there. And that is my message for this time of the year. And it's just a time of getting ready to fully let go and step into winter where we go within. And I hope this is giving you all new ideas about how powerful you are and that you already have all this within you. It's just developing that consciousness about using your skills instead of just running away with the emotion.